Sound is rolling. Cameras are rolling.
And I'm Brianna.
And we're going to roll in 10, 9,
Please don't choke.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, welcome to this episode of Away with Words, the podcast. It's your girl, Bree Stories.
And it's A Tati.
And it's MGM Kid.
And his Candy.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I don't mean to
I know. I'm so
I don't
sorry.
mean to scold you. Hi, everybody. Today we're gonna talk a little bit about presents. And we're gonna make it cute. We're gonna make it sweet. Do you have any ice to break?
So, wait. Let's see. What should we?
you want to?
I can't believe this is on the spot.
I can't believe
Just
this
put it
is
out. If
on
nobody
the
noticed.
spot. Yeah, go ahead. Check in first.
Okay, I'll start with my check-in. Physically, I'm thirsty.
Same.
I got some water down there. I'll drink it in a minute.
Same.
Emotionally, I'm hungry.
Emotionally hungry.
Ooh.
No.
That is real.
That's deep.
That is deep.
Emotionally, I'm hungry. I feel like that's me 90% of the time.
So if any of you have read the book 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, they teach you about the five emotions, the 5 core emotions. So it's joy, sadness, anger, fatigue, and creative feelings.
Okay.
Which is sexual feelings.
Oh, sexual.
So, yes. My attention is currently on I'm not gonna say that.
No, I
My
need you to say
eyebrows.
that.
I didn't want to say that. I'm really
Say
irritated
it,
with
say
myself.
it,
I know. I'm
say
happy that
it.
y'all are like feeling fine, but like y'all don't understand what I've been through. My attention is.
We don't understand what you've been.
You don't know. So my attention is currently on. I think maybe like Culver's. I think I'll go to Culver's after this.
That's nice.
And spiritually, I'm feeling. Very grateful, very blessed.
Yeah.
That was almost an R. That was almost breast, and not blessed.
All right.
What about you, Mickey?
Yeah, physically, I am feeling a little chilly, and I have this jawbreaker in my mouth, so.
Is it making you cold?
No, it's not. I was separating the two.
Oh.
I'm cold, and I had a jawbreaker, and so, like, my mouth is feeling just kind of like, because it's a hard candy, so it's,
Yeah.
like, it's hard on my gums.
It's the hardest.
The hardest. Emotionally, wow, I almost forgot. Oh, Tati, please.
I didn't think you saw me.
Emotionally,
see.
more joy. Just joy.
Down in my heart.
Down in my heart. My attention is on also food. I think it's time to eat.
It's about that time.
Yeah, it's time to eat and
Yeah.
enjoy some good, delicious delectables. Delicious
I
delectables.
don't
Delicious
like
delectables.
that. It
Why
makes me
not?
so
Why not?
uncomfortable.
Why not?
Why not?
Spiritually,
delectables.
spiritually, it's just always
Makes
a good
you
time.
gag.
It did.
Spiritually, I'm covered. Like I said, so nothing changed my mind.
I'm so sorry.
How childish of me. All right,
No,
Tati's
you're
up.
good.
Physically, I'm thirsty, and I'm also getting a little tired. I
Yeah.
can feel like my eyes getting a little lower.
I could use some sleep.
Emotionally, I feel anticipation. My attention is on probably food as well.
Yeah. What are you gonna eat?
I don't know. I don't know. I keep trying to answer it differently, and I'm like, I don't know. But just that, I mean, food makes me happy. So
It's the joy of my life.
yeah.
Truly.
So
Come on,
now that we're
truly.
talking about it, it's on my attention. And spiritually, I feel I don't know. Spiritually, I feel tested.
All right.
So icebreaker, what is one thing other than your phone that you will never leave the house without?
Chapstick.
in money, other than your phone and money.
Chapstick.
Things. Chapstick.
Yeah.
Chapstick
Um,
for you too.
car keys?
Not that.
Or not that either.
No.
No, not that.
But I have to get in my car.
Okay. Not that.
All right.
Another thing.
I mean, it's funny because I often
Aside from
leave
like
my
the
house
things that
without
you
chapstick.
can't. Aside from the things that you literally probably like should not leave your house without. So not like house keys.
A hat.
You never leave the house without a hat?
No.
Interesting.
It's literally like either one in my car if I'm not wearing one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Mine's is chapstick as well. It's either chapstick or candy.
Got it.
That's true.
But
You would keep candy
both
on
of those
deck.
things, I could be running late to work. I could be like, oh my God, I got 5 minutes to get to work and I'm 10 minutes away. But if I notice that I don't have candy or chapstick in my purse, we're stopping at the gas station.
Got it.
Because I'm not going without it.
Right.
Word.
Yep.
Thank you for
That's
that. So, I wrote a little piece. You'll be able to see it on yaymash.com this Wednesday. It is about the power of presence. It's just been on my mind because I started learning about the concept of being present maybe around like 2013. That year always stands out to me. I don't know if that is true at all, but I think so. Like that is when I read this book that really changed the way I think, and a lot of different stuff that year happened. And so I wanted to ask, just because in general, because I'm in a space now where my perception of presence has shifted, and I did something recently that lets me know that I am kind of where I want to be as far as being present. It's just that I am a human being and I often get distracted. But for the most part, I am good at being present, right? And I'm starting to see that as a skill that needs to be practiced. It's not like this natural thing. It is, but we have to come back to it. We have to unlearn, and we have to like get back to a space of presence as opposed to it just being this easy thing, especially now when we have all this shit, right? So if you can quantify it, how much time do you think that you spend inside of your head as opposed to just in your body?
All of it.
All of it.
I probably spend in my head versus probably a good 85%
Yeah.
is in my head.
In the moments that you are spending in your body, what are you doing?
Sleeping, eating, doing stuff with my daughter. It's usually, it's like any of the things that I feel like literally requires my presence. I feel like in a sense, because, or else I wouldn't be able to do it effectively.
That's
type
good
of
though,
thing.
because
Like-
some people do those things and still don't be present.
Yeah, like spending time with like my family or
Yeah.
like spending time with like my significant other, like just like being in those spaces where I feel like you're gonna miss it if you're not there.
That's
but
really
like
good.
everywhere else, I'd be in my head the whole time.
That's really good though. That's really, really good. That's impressive. What about you, McGee?
But those spaces are also my, not to cut you off, but those spaces
No,
are
that's
also like my breaks from like the reasons
Everything
why I'm
else.
in my head in the first place.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's another reason why it brings me like to the present, because it's like this is like your calm space.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like spaces like this for me where I'm present most.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm setting everything up. I'm not thinking about nothing else. And definitely when I'm at the gym. Yeah.
I fuck with
Same.
that.
Agreed.
Because you're looking at, you're in your body. You're looking at your body. You're making sure your form is right. Like, you're just, I'm in the zone, like feeling present
Yeah.
in that space.
I love that you said how you made the connection that those are the spaces where you're actually getting a break from everything else. So with that being said, do you think that you yourself can see presence as a cure? As if I can get in my body in all those other times, those things won't bother me as much, or I won't be as affected by them?
Yes. I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, because it's hard to look at being present in an unfavorable moment as like, oh, but this would make it better.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I've never even considered, because usually I'm in my mind almost in those moments because I'm escaping from from where I'm at. So it's just like a reverse of it, or even not necessarily escaping, but it's like, I don't want to be here anyway, so I might as well just think about all the other things that like I have to do, you know, or like I don't want to be in this space. So I really don't know. I never even considered if being here and just fully being in this moment, if that would make it better. I don't know. I never even thought about it.
That's interesting that you said that, and I think it's good for me to also know other perspectives because I only have my own. And like what I wrote about is because I'm still working on I hate the wording of I suffer from depression. I hate that wording.
Yeah.
But because I am a person that is challenged by depression and anxiety, I have come to find presence to be an actual cure. Like, and it's one of those things where I think that it's really important that it's like, it's something that feels like kind of like a duh thing, like an aha thing is literally at all of our fingertips, but it's also so difficult for a lot of people. And I'm in a space now where I'm learning in my quest to love the people that I love better. I want to accept y'all exactly where y'all are, and I know I can be kind of like policey and be like, just do this, just do this. And so that's why I was like, I want to experience my own presence even while I'm experiencing y'all, even if y'all are doing something that is unsavory to me. So like when I'm talking to my mom, for instance, y'all know I'll be talking about my mom and my sister, and like they be just so overwhelmed with stuff and just like venting to me and going through stuff. In my brain, I'll be like, that don't even matter. Like that's not even happening right now, you know? But it's because I've trained myself and I really had to sit down and think about it, where I'm like, it really does take practice. And whether I went about it on purpose or not, I've been doing this since 2013. Like literally either meditating or just mindful practice in a general sense. And so it's like, I see it as like a duh thing, but it's not. Like a lot of people don't see it that way. So that was the whole purpose that I wanted to kind of like shed light on. But one of the things that, one of the other things that I wanted to ask you about is like, oh, I asked you that already. The correlation.
I did change my mind though. I do think that while you were talking, I was like, no, actually, presence in every situation probably would make it better, honestly, because I do think, I was thinking, even if say like for instance like being at work or something, and I'm in a space where like I'm ready to go home, I'm tired, I don't want to be here, and if I'm in my head the whole time trying to do all these other things, I am just overloading my plate, because in reality first it's like I'm still here, so it's like I haven't taken away the stress or the exhaustion of the fact that I'm still at work. I just added on other things to worry about while I'm there, instead of just dealing with one situation at a time and just being like, just focus on work, get off, get home, and then go to the next thing. You know, so
I'm glad that you made that correlation, because I do struggle with when I am talking to other people about it. I think I was having this conversation with Michael, because Michael actually is the one who told me like, you need to write about this and talk about this, because I was talking to him about how I have this very firm belief, and I have to say it that way because I understand that my experience is not everybody else's, that in the present moment, if you actually are in the present moment that you're in, you are not in need of anything.
Exactly.
And when that kind of like hit me the way that it did, however many years ago it was, it changed everything. And I think that this past year, I had the most challenging bout with depression I've ever had in my life. And I've kind of like lost my grip in that. But that was meant to happen too. So, for me to actually see the value in presence again the way that I have lately. And I know that and sometimes I struggle because that feels like such a privileged thing to say, because people be having real shit going on. Like, and I never want to make it seem like nothing, like anything you're going through is just not that big of a deal. Like, just tra-la-la your way into la-la land, and it's not a big deal. And it's not like that at all, but it's really just a matter of grounding yourself and rooting yourself in yourself. My therapist just said that the other day. She said, how are you going to be grounded if you're not rooted in yourself? Like, you can't ground yourself nowhere else. You can't ground yourself to these things. Right. You can't ground yourself to another person. Like, you have to be grounded and rooted in yourself. And that's all I mean. I think that I wanted to use this as kind of like a little bit of a I don't know, like, what's the word? Kind of just like a space to gather my own forgiveness, because I never mean to make anybody feel like they're dumb or they're doing it wrong because I've like done this thing. But I really do want people to know that, like, if you really just tap in, there's really not much that we need. And then once you do that more and more, then you start to find satisfaction everywhere. When I was doing my fast, I was just like, wow, I'm so satisfied in this moment. And I've been in a space now where I've been calling myself successful, which I've never done. I think that we're so used to like striving for a thing, and I still am. I still see so much for us and for this particular space and this group and what we do. But I also am okay with being like, I'm pretty successful right now. Like, there are a lot of things that I have now and a lot of things that I do where it's just like, wow, I'm really, really grateful for that. And I think that a lot of us can really tap into that when we try to. And it just takes practice. And I just want us all to practice that more. That's really all I came here to do today.
I think it's easier to hear. I think it's all about in the language in which you talk to people. Because I think that if you're talking to somebody that doesn't think the same way you do or doesn't like live in that same like kind of knowledge space like the way that you do, then telling someone like, you know, like if you were present, you know, you wouldn't need anything in this moment. Right. You know, like it can come off like a, like, are you fucking kidding me? I just said I'm about to get evicted. Yeah, right. Like, or like I'm just like, I just told you that like something catastrophic has just happened, and you're talking about, well, if you were in the present, you know. Ooh. So I think it's just all about it's about the way you like say things versus like presenting presence to someone just as a tool. To get through these moments, like not so that it's not that you're saying, you know, these things are happening, or you don't need to come up with a plan, or like something immediate isn't happening to you, but just explaining that you can use presence as a tool to get through every moment and to slow you down and let you take things one thing at a time. And that may help you better. You know, you may be able to better come up with a plan or better come up with a solution if the first thing you worry about is, okay, my car stopped. How am I getting home? Yeah. Let me just focus all of my energy on how I'm getting home. Then when I get home, I can think about how am I paying for this? You know, just go, you know, step by step.
I'm glad that you said that way, because I have been on a personal path of trying to release myself of judgment. And one of the things that I know about myself is that I can be extremely self-righteous. And like, I just feel like it's right. I know what the fuck I'm talking about, you know? And one of the things that I'm starting to take a lot of concepts that I've learned years ago and flip them around, where like presence for me now is about being present with you while we're not agreeing. I can feel like I know what the fuck I'm talking about and I'm trying to tell you or whatever, but it's more valuable to me that I'm present with you in the space that you're in. And if it's a space where you need to vent, or a space where you just do need to strategize, or you need to think, or you just need to get overweight, I think it's more important to me now that I'm present with people than me trying to be like, well, here's a fix for that, and here's a solution for that, you know? And I think that that's a very different way now that I'm looking at presence than I did before, because before it was like, oh, I learned this thing, let me get everybody else on board. Right. But now it's like, no, do the thing. Be present. Be here with this person while they're going through it. Be here with this person while y'all are in conflict, while y'all are having this conversation or this discourse. So I'm glad that you said that way too.
I feel like that's something that comes up in a lot of like romantic relationships where people are constantly just in need of their partner's presence and their attention, and they just need them like in that space. And then their partner may be like a fixer, like just the person that's you know, like, well, here's the solution, I'm out of here, you know. And in their mind, they're like, I fixed the problem, and so now I'm allowed to leave because I fixed the problem. When the problem,
or I'm allowed to tap out, even if you don't physically leave.
Right, like I'm allowed to exit this whole conversation because I did my job, which was I fixed it. And if you don't want to take that advice, then that's on you. That means you want to stay mad. You know, like so that
like
was
me. Right, so that was me. I'm like, you're in this place because you want to be there.
Yeah,
like that was definitely how I looked.
And I actually seen like recently, I don't know when this was, maybe like a couple of weeks ago or something. Like I saw like this clip like on Instagram from Black Ink, the original, like the New York one.
Oh,
and Caesar.
I know a person.
Caesar was talking to like I don't know if they're still together or not, but a girl that he was still with. No, her girlfriend.
I know. I'm
she's
just
saying
oh, you're just naming all the people you know
yeah,
now.
she's ridiculous.
But he was talking to like his girlfriend, and she was like really upset and crying. And like what I was gathering from the bits and pieces of things they were saying was like something had happened to her. I don't know if she had went and got surgery or like something, but she was in a space where they had an argument previous to her getting ill or like being like, so they had like an argument where they kind of like wasn't fucking with each other for whatever reason. But then she went and got like this surgery or got sick or something. So she was in a space where like she needed him. Like she was like she wanted him to be there to care for her or like to stop what he was doing and just like be around or whatever. He didn't come. But when this happened, he was paying for everything. Like he was, like everything she needed, he was paying for. He was sending it to her. He even had like his personal assistant like came out and was like doing stuff for her or whatever. And so he's like, when
what
he
more
so
can you fucking want?
and then he's also in his mind, he's also looking at it like, who else came through for you though?
Right.
Oh.
He like, if I didn't pay for the things that I paid for, didn't fix the things that I fixed, nobody else was coming. Right. So he's like, so not only would you have been like by yourself, you also would have been broke. You also wouldn't have made it to the doctor. You also wouldn't have made it, like home or whatever. He was like, all the things that like I gave you were things that you needed. And he's like, and so in his mind, he's like, instead of you being appreciative of things that I did do, you want to fight with me for the one thing that I didn't do.
We're going to have to do a whole other episode about
and she was
bids.
like, I didn't need that. And she's like, I needed you though. She's like, I needed you there. And he's like, but you're lying because you did need it. He's
Not
like,
your line.
He's like, because you did
so
need
you
it.
didn't need
Right,
water?
you didn't need water. Right, you didn't.
So you didn't need no water.
Right, you didn't need water. You didn't need food. Oh,
She also needed.
Right. So,
It's
and
layered.
he like, but at one point as I was arguing back and forth, he got so fed up and he flat out told her, he was like, because that's what I do. He was like, I'm a provider.
That's what I do.
And he was like, so,
too many-
take it or leave it. He's like, this is who I am.
But too many people think of that as the only space in which you provide, which is monetary or with physical things. But like I know we don't have a lot of time today, but we do need to have a conversation about love languages and about what I've just learned about in therapy, which is missing bids in relationships where you are putting something out, expecting a very specific response, and your partner doesn't know that that's what you want.
Right.
And how difficult that is, and if you don't do the work and like actually attune to one another and gain understanding from one another on what each other needs, because it does, I know from experience, it makes for a very uncomfortable experience in your relationships when you just don't feel heard and understood, where it's like, wow, yes, you're doing shit, I see you doing stuff, I appreciate it, but that's not what I asked you for. That's not what I want.
And partially, when I looked at it, like, now mind you, I don't know these people. I've never even seen an episode of this show, so I know nothing about the relationship. But the first thing that popped into my head was like, is this his first time being this person? Like, where he's showing you that the way he loves is through providing and through finances. I think that women especially have a tendency to be so excited by the providing and the money and things like that in the beginning, and you're satisfied with that. You're fine with that because you like, shoot, ain't nobody else buying me this, ain't nobody else, taking me these places or trying to pay my bills. Like, why wouldn't I be happy? But then down the road, once the money isn't exciting you anymore because you're used to it,
and
now.
when you in love,
like now that the money
like,
isn't that big of a deal because you like, nigga, you give me money every day. Now that it's not a big deal, now you're asking for something that he was never giving you to begin with.
Said I want to be in your face.
He never was like, oh my God, baby, are you okay? Let me lay with you. Like, let me help you. What do you need? He was never that guy. He was always the guy that threw money at the situation. So it's like people also have to, you can't get swept up in your little in the honeymoon or like this is new, this is exciting phase. Yeah, like you still have to know what you want and keep things in perspective, or shift, you know, your needs.
Yep.
You know, shift your needs. Like if you realize like
Give
this
grace.
person may not be giving me what I need, but at the same time, you know, he's great. This, you know, this is way more than I've ever had before. So maybe I can adjust. Maybe I can learn to, you know, accept this love like in this type of way. But it is a little unfair, you know, to jump off the deep end, demanding something from somebody, and then like, I never did this before. Like I never did it. Never told you I would do it. So it's like, I don't know where you. If anything, you're the crazy one. like I'm being the same person that I've been this whole time. You know.
Yes, and with that, and with all things, we definitely have to make sure that we are present with the person that is presently before us, because you also don't want to hold anybody to a standard, even if they did start a certain way or said that later they would be, or a lot of bitches get caught up with this. Who I am when I have a girlfriend. You having conversations with niggas that you just talking to, and they're like, yeah, but in a relationship, I'm like this. And so then you get in a relationship expecting that. Don't expect nothing but the person that is brought
Currently
before
right
you.
here.
Currently right there, because a lot of us fall for fucking potential or fall for the, maybe if I did this, they'll do this. No. Do it now. Be present and do it now and see how they react. But don't try to make it something that it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that falls right back on what me and you said before in one of the past episodes when we talked about how we've never been the girls that agreed with the whole don't give a man your all, like until you're married type of thing. And we were like, that doesn't make sense. Like, because when I get married, I need you to be marrying me, who I am. You need to know exactly who I am.
When we married, I want to cuss from there.
Right, and I want to marry who I already know you to be. I don't want us to say I do, and then I'd be like, bitch, who knew he was so romantic? like now he just doing this and that. Like now he giving me husband like vibes, and it's like,
now he's giving me
like I
husband
want to
vibes.
know who you are. Because we're not going to get engaged if I don't know who you are already. If who you are presenting yourself to be to me throughout the whole dating process is not a person that I'm looking at like, I can marry you, this version of you, then we're not going to get there. I'm not going to be like, well, I said yes because I hoped.
Right.
Then when we got married.
Then when we get married, that'll be different. It won't.
Yeah.
Newsflash.
And even if it is, like, you took such a huge gamble. You took such a huge risk with your happiness. Yeah. That like, and it's
your livelihood.
Yeah.
That shit is scary and weird. Wishing y'all the best.
That shit is scary and weird.
We hide our flaws until after the wedding. You know where I got that from?
Is that Bridesmaids?
No. It's a different
it sounded
Tati,
like Rudy. I mean Rudy. What? Maya Rudolph. Tati. Who is that quote from?
Say it again.
We hide our flaws until after the wedding.
No, I don't know. Is that a cartoon?
It's Cinderella with Brandy.
Oh,
thought y'all would have got that. Never mind.
No, sorry. I'm like, everything is usually Bridesmaids.
I know.
Like, is it Bridesmaids?
I was just watching that movie the other day, and like, and I haven't watched it in so long.
What, Bridesmaids or Cinderella?
Yeah, Bridesmaids. So it was cracking me up all over again.
It's
like,
a good movie.
Like brand new. When they were doing the toasts back and forth,
ridiculous.
I was like,
it makes me
I
so
can't handle
It's
this.
so uncomfortable.
It makes me so uncomfortable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Everybody go watch Bridesmaids.
And that's another example of somebody that wouldn't be in the present because she would not be in the present with that nigga that she was sleeping with.
No, at all.
Oh my God. Either way, all of you, we did good. We did good on time.
Yeah.
Please make sure that you look out on yaymash.com this Wednesday. The Power of Presence, the blog post. This is the Power of Presence, the podcast episode. The Power of Presence, the blog post will be up on yaymash.com on Wednesday morning at 2:14 a.m. if you're going to be at Central Time.
Yep.
Other than that, follow us where you can follow us. For right now, Bree.stories on Instagram, Bree_stories on Twitwat, as well as Tati, Tati on Instagram, and Hey Tati on Twitwat. And you must be following at MJM Kid and at Moments_Stu. I know I don't have to tell y'all that. Y'all are already doing that, right?
Please.
Y'all are cool. You're cool. Thank you all so much. We'll talk to you all next week. We love you, and everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye.